All right, folks, welcome back. Let's talk about taxes. We are in the middle of tax season here, and I just want to share some thoughts about using this opportunity during tax season to talk about gaining greater freedoms for yourself and gaining greater wealth for yourself through your CPA, right? Leveraging your CPA to have some strategy and some conversations, right? Your CPA, and I need to mention, I am not a CPA. So please go seek counsel from your CPA. Your CPA is going to see the situation from many, many, many different households and what they're doing and how they're structured and what works and what doesn't work in terms of taxation. They do a lot of different tax returns for individuals, for joint returns if a couple is married, and for businesses. So why not leverage that immense knowledge that your CPA has? Why not leverage that to be able to reduce your tax base, to be able to grow your freedom, grow your wealth? Let's see how other people are doing things and do better for ourselves. That's what I do with my CPA. I want to talk a little bit about that. And one of the things comes down to how you are structured when you do your tax return. Many married couples file jointly, and that may be okay. Some file separately as individuals, and that may be okay. And with a business, they are still filing jointly. And that may be okay for them, for their scenario, but it's worth the conversation with your CPA to say, does it make sense for me to file separately, right? If one of the individuals in that marriage is, working for the business, does that make sense to be on the payroll as a W-2 wage earner for that business, or does it make more sense to be a 1099 contractor for that business? That may open up some opportunities for you in terms of, as a married couple, being able to grow some opportunities, reduce your taxes, and maybe get, if you're into real estate or something like that, maybe one half of that couple may be able to go off and become identified as a real estate professional, which I think a lot of you folks know. As a real estate professional, you are able to have a lot of different opportunities. One of the biggest one is with depreciation and being able to reduce your income base by using depreciation. Even though as an individual, it may not look on paper like a very positive thing, when you combine it as a couple and you can leverage these different things as a couple, you actually come out ahead, right? So one person may be here and the other person, if you're a couple, you may be here filing jointly. When you file as an individual, right, that same couple filing it as an individual, one individual may still be here, the other individual on paper in terms of, income may be down here, but overall as a couple, you may be ahead of the game because you're going to be paying less taxes. So you need to have those conversations, okay? We're no longer an economy like our mothers and fathers grew up in. We have to leverage every possible opportunity to protect our freedom, protect our wealth, grow our freedom. And our parents didn't have to do that as much as we have to today. I speak to a lot of different folks. Some folks are still doing it the same way their parents were doing taxes. And maybe that's okay, but I'm encouraging you to go have some questions with your CPA. So this is a great opportunity for you to actively participate and actively strategize with your CPA. A lot of folks will tell me, gee, Tony, I don't have the time, to get on my CPA's calendar. And I just push back. I say, everybody has breakfast or lunch or dinner. There's 3 opportunities in each and every day to meet with your CPA over breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And you know what? Not for nothing. Pay for a cup of coffee, pay for lunch, pay for dinner with your CPA. It's well worth the investment to be able to get some great knowledge in terms of how to structure yourself better and differently. When structured as a business, that can be very limiting because you end up, and depending on how you're structured as a business, you may be paying a lot of taxes. I consider Social Security and Medicare a form of a tax. Not only will the individual get the W-2, like if your spouse is getting the W-2 as an employee to the business, they are paying 6.2% for Social Security and another 1.45% for Medicare. And you, as the other half of the equation, the other half of the relationship, you too are contributing to Medicare and Social Security. Another 1.45 from Medicare and another 6.2% for Social Security. So you, as a couple, are feeling the taxation twice. One as the business, and then secondly, as the individual. So from a Social Security standpoint, you're paying 12.4% for Social Security tax with each and every paycheck, which is significant. So important for you to take a look at with your CPA, how you have your business structured, and also think about being able to save, whether you want to pay into Social Security and Medicare. That's a conversation for a different day. But I look at it and I say, I don't see Social Security really being there 100% for us in the future. Unfortunately, there's so much wrong in the world today. And if I can save that money and not pay it into Social Security, that's money I have to be able to invest today. And I think we all know with that business mindset, we go back to our net present value tables and say $1 today is worth more than $1 10 years from now. We're all feeling it with inflation over the last couple of years. So it can really hit home to us when I'd rather have that $1 today to be able to invest and grow versus giving it to the government, in the form of Social Security payments, right? Again, it's a tax. It's a taxation on us that we need to get away from in terms of how our business is structured and also how we structure the tax return. So that's something important we have to talk about. Again, if you have a business, strategize with your CPA, stretch their mind in terms of what makes sense for me to do. If you have a business and you're operating out of your home, maybe it makes sense for you to buy some commercial real estate that has 5 bays or 5 offices and rent out the other 4 and keep one for yourself, be able to derive income from renting the other 4 offices or 4 bays. You keep one, and oh, by the way, you can, potentially deduct that space that you're using against that income that you're bringing in. Plus, you have depreciation. There's a lot of positives that could come of that. So, your CPA may not be asking you those questions, may not be fostering that conversation. I want you to have these ideas, this ammunition, this conversation with your CPA to to stretch the brain and protect your freedoms and grow your wealth. Okay, that's my goal here with this channel, is to help you guys maybe think a little differently. And if this sort of stuff is helping, please, I appreciate, please click the subscribe button, click the like button, so we can get this out to many, many, many different types of people. Again, let's talk about the individual. If you're tied to the business, it may make more sense to, instead of derive a W-2 income from the business, it might make more sense to be a 1099 contractor for that business. And as I share it with my accountant, it's not about tax evasion. It's about tax avoidance. It's about how you structure the deal. Not only is it not being taught in school, I come across a lot of folks where they're doing their tax strategy the same way as their mother and father. And that just may not work today. For their situation, they may be able to do better. And I also come across folks who are still using, friends to be able to do their taxes, maybe a college friend that now does taxes or something like that, who may not be the best person to develop a strategy with. Or even worst case, there's so many folks who use this fancy tax software out there to be able to do their taxes. Those things, there's no strategy behind it. And meeting with your CPA to have that strategy, to pay a little bit of money for that time, spend 2 hours with your CPA, pay that money. Is so important. Pay your CPA for their knowledge to be able to come up with that strategy is so powerful, so important. So talk to them about how to structure your business, how to structure your tax return, either as a joint or individual or something else that works better for you. Maximize your deductions with your return to be able to offset your income and bring your tax base down. You need to be having those conversations. And ultimately, all of this creates options for yourself, right? For you and for your family, for your kids. I share the perspective, there's folks in, sending their kids to school for the very first time, and they're talking about, cutting a big check to the university. for the education. And I say, is there an opportunity instead of cutting a check to pay the university and never see that money again, so to speak? Again, talk to your CPA about this. Is there an opportunity to instead cut a check, not to the university, but instead to buy a condo or to buy a duplex that now your child can, if they're of the right mindset with your training, with your encouragement, now your child can go off, and if that's a condo with 3 bedrooms, go rent out the other 2 bedrooms to pay for the condo. And oh, by the way, they'll probably have some income coming in to be able to pay for their food, pay for their gas, pay for their car, or just be able to save and create a nest egg for themselves. And chances are, 4 years later, after they graduate college, that condo is going to be worth more. Now, granted, are you going to have to take a loan for the college tuition that you didn't pay with that check? You sent that check to go buy the condo. Now you're taking out a loan to pay for that tuition. That may be okay. You got to run those numbers to see, does it make sense to take out a loan, right? And some of these loans you don't have to pay back until 6 months after the kid graduates, right? You got to take a look at all of that to see if it makes sense. Your CPA can help you through some of that strategy. Okay. So leverage them. Okay. I hope this video has got you thinking, given you some ideas to talk to your CPA about, right? To be able to navigate that conversation. Again, if this is something that you find useful, please subscribe to the channel, like this video. We want the algorithm to get it out to a ton of different people so we can help people protect their freedom, protect their wealth, grow their wealth and their freedom. So important to us today. So thank you for watching. Be well and go protect your freedom and your wealth. Thank you.